Welcome to Coping with Life. I'm your host, Scotty. Nice to have you back. I appreciate each and every one of you, by the way. And so today is about loneliness and emptiness and, tired of trying, tired of living, just tired being done. It's, for me, again, this is just coming from my point of view and my perspective. When I'm having a good day, unless something happens, it's going to be a good day. But if something kills that day, I feel it. But if I'm not there, if I'm just not receptive to what people are throwing out there, I don't care. And I don't mean that in a dismissive way. I just mean my body's like, I'm not home to receive your positivity and, the way down depression that I live and what I feel. And again, I'm 34 years old. My life is full. The positive spin, my life is good. But it's not where I want it to be. I don't think a lot of people have their life where they want it to be. And that's okay. Because that's life. Dreams and aspirations may not always come true. I've achieved all of them except two. I'm very open. I'm very motivated, but there's a few things that I want to achieve, and every day they become thing that won't come to fruition. And, I want a family. I want to be married. I want to have somebody that I can care for and have unconditional love. But I don't think that's in the cards. And I have to live with that. And, that weighs so much down. That weighs a lot on somebody's soul. Because I've always just wanted to be loved. I wanted people to care. Because, I'm one of those people who I love unconditionally. I 100%. And, there might be a few people out there that may disagree with that statement. That is up to them. That's their mindset. But, I always want to help. I want to use my brain. But emptiness, loneliness, it weighs so much on somebody's soul. And even though I'm in a great headspace right now, I'm not. I am. Because I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't be doing this episode if I'm not in the right headspace to talk negative and being honest. But it is good to get things off my chest. But, emptiness, loneliness, and it stacks on. If you play video games and, buffs or debuffs stack, or if you play Dungeons and Dragons, things stack. Depression stacks. And it stacks in so many different ways. And it's horrible. And, there's signs and, depression and way people react and whatnot, it affects everybody differently. And I hide it. Some people can see right through it, but I'm heavily depressed. I've been depressed my entire life, but in recent months it's been horrible. And the loneliness, the onset loneliness, abandonment issues, I want to say screw this and, cut everybody out of my life and, hide. And, that's not the smartest thing to do, because I care about the people in my life. And you listening to this, you matter. You are a person in my life. I may not know you. I appreciate you 100%. And I mean that. So deep thank you, but in my psyche, in my way of thinking, I don't always think logically. But we all, again, in my opinion, we're all searching for something. It's, and it could be benign, like, oh, I'm looking for a shiny Charizard. Okay, well, that's their goal. I'm not going to diminish what they're looking for, because that's what they want. That's what they're looking for. And I think it's unfair that people go, it's like, well, Scott, the thing that you want, you're not going to get. You do realize that nobody's going to care for you. Well, yeah. And, they say truth hurts, and you know what? It does. And, if you're a long-time listener of my podcast, again, I appreciate you 100%. I'm still learning, and any feedback is good feedback. And, I'm doing this because I need to get stuff on my chest. Talking into this microphone, talking in general, depression and the weight on my shoulder, and it's, I can tell that I've stopped caring, and there's a lot of things that I've stopped caring about, and not healthy, absolutely not healthy whatsoever. But I still try and be very positive. And there's people that I will always say, hey, I love you. And I hope everybody has a great day. And, wonderful day. A beautiful day. I try to be so positive. Because I think in my mind, I want people, because, everybody needs to pick me up, and yet I don't want people to ever feel like the way I do. And when you're low, when you're low in life, and you're depressed, and you got nobody to really talk to, and there's a few people that I can talk to, but, that's not the point that I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make for other people. Normal people can't handle sadness. They try and lock everything up until they explode. And that's not healthy for anybody. But, I apologize for everybody who's going through stuff that, is weighing them down, whatever it may be, big or small. You know, the big stuff, I can carry that on my shoulders. And because I'm built to wear the burdens of many. But the small stuff, that breaks the camel's back. And emptiness, loneliness, void, an empty void. People say, "Oh, you just fill that with something else." No, because if I put somebody in my heart, and it's like, okay, this little space is for this person, and that person's not in my life anymore, that's still a void where it's like, that's the puzzle piece, and it's hard. And you can always try and replace it, but it's hard. And I try wearing my life very openly. There are a lot of things that I refuse to talk about openly, and that's just me being me. But it's hard because everybody has dreams, and a lot of things come easy for a lot of people. Hey, there's a lot of things that have came really easy for me. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that I had to work for. And, there were so many roadblocks in my life growing up. And I am honest that I doubt normal people could go through half of what I've went through. And I'm going to flip it on the other side. There's a lot of normal people out there. I couldn't have done a day. I probably couldn't have even done 2 hours. Everybody's road is different. Your road is different from the next. And that is okay. It's life. We learn from others. We listen to others. And loneliness is a horrible feeling. Especially when you come off saying that, you have different perception of things. And then spiral. And then you try and tell it's like, hey, let's not overreact. Let's not spiral out of control. While you're spiraling out of control. And, there's a lot of things that I've learned over the years. And, I have to live my life to the best of my abilities. And, life, Earth, we all have an expiration date. Some, we don't know when we're going to expire. Some may take exit left. But, it's all our story, but we're humans, and we need to try and help other people, build people up, not tear them down. And, the community that I am a part of, they are very appreciated, with arms wide open, But at the same time, it's heavy. And, sometimes there's burdens and there's issues that nobody can, Nobody can help them except, number one, the person. And that is okay. That is 100% okay. But, you have to do your best in life. And, loneliness and emptiness and, like I don't know how long ago it was, um, but when I talked about the romance scammers, and there's a reason why I do that. There's other things that I could be focusing on, but scammers I'm not a fan of. There's a lot of variants of scammers, but I focus on like the romance scams because it's predatory, and for somebody who and then you have the people who are actively trying to cheat and betray their significant other, and it's like you're what's wrong with people, and because you're not content with what you have, while there's people like me who are just desperate for something, desperate for a chance, but we don't get those chances, and we get abused, we get used, and then tossed aside when there's somebody better. And people wonder why we stopped caring, and while why I have trust issues. That's why. Trust is something that's built on time, and emptiness is a horrible feeling. It's it's not the best thing in life to live your life to the point where you feel hopeless. That is when I feel that's when I pick up my phone and I call the hotlines. I'm not afraid to call those hotlines when I feel that way. Even if I'm just looking for somebody to talk to. 100% I'm not afraid to call those hotlines. And because, feeling emptiness, loneliness, sad, wishing that somebody would love you, to me, that is a safe zone for me. But when I start feeling hopeless, that is the biggest red flag, because that is me going down the road of no return. Because, hopeless, the way that I've explained it to therapists and other people trying to help them, emptiness, you're in a kiddie pool, then there's emptiness. You're about 3 feet, you're but then when you're in the voidness, you're waist high. But when your hope is gone, hopeless, you're drowning, you're reaching up, you're gasping for air, because, and I've been there, and I've been there many times in my life, and because it's for somebody who is afraid of water, drowning is a fear. But that is the analogy that I use, because trying to reach up when nobody knows that you're gone. and I try really hard to put up, my shield and go, everything is fine. I'm okay. Are you mad? No, I'm not fine. I'm good. I'm not mad. I'm good. But people in my life, they sense when something's a little off, when I'm off. But it's like I'm good. And there's great days, 100%. But then there's some days where, when you're walking downtown and everybody's affectionate and everybody is, having a good time, and you're alone. You're the ghost staring at thing that you want. And, it, and, a lot of people may take that as, oh, well, jealousy or whatnot. It's like, maybe. But it's like, well, it doesn't make me mad. It's just like, well, that's something that I want. I'm not entitled to that. I don't, there's a lot of mentalities, there's a lot of stories out there where, that mentality, people, get to that weight of, oh, I'm doing everything. I have fancy cars, I have clothes, I have money. The people should be forming me, and then go super the wrong way and murder people who are affectionate to each other, and that is horrible. 100%. That is definitely not the way that anybody should go. A, murder is not an answer. 2, violence solves nothing. I'm a proponent that, violence solves nothing. Yelling solves nothing. Except when you're, trapped in a forest and you're trying to get help. Maybe yelling is warranted. But, it's, when people have, everybody's different, but, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just speaking the truth that pertains to me. It may change tomorrow, but the way, it does make me sad. But it doesn't enrage me. I just, it's like, no, I wish I had that. And that's basically where that goes, and just gets me more sad because I don't have that. But that's not who I am. That is something that I'm mainly looking for, but I'm not. It's weird. It's dynamic that it's hard to explain. It's something that I really, really want, but at the same time, I know it's not going to happen. Therefore, it's actually not something that I'm there, and I've basically went, well, it's not happening, so I'm going to just live the best of my life. But it does go to the point where a little uncomfortable, but that's okay. I can deal with that. I've been a little uncomfortable in a lot of scenarios. But when and there's when my friends get into relationships, I usually back away and fade away. And it's all to respect. I hate being a third wheel. I hate being wonder what Scotty's doing. It's like doing what I've been doing every single day since I've lived on my own. I appreciate everybody, and I will chat, but I don't want to be the third wheel or fifth wheel or whatever it's called. I don't know, but I don't want to be an obligation to talk to, so usually I fade away. And a lot of people won't see that because when they talk to me or text me, I'm usually there. There are some exceptions. There's always exceptions. But, it's... and I've changed. As I grow older, I've changed a lot of my views on that. But, loneliness and emptiness and just, feeling alone. There was a moment not too long ago where something happened in my life where I reached out to everybody on my phone. Nobody got back to me. And it's like, I kind of would like somebody to talk to. Kind of would like, the ears, and just, feeling down and low and then when people get back to me 3 weeks later, it's like, hey, what's up? It's like, nothing. Good. Just very dismissive, very distant. And it all depends on how I am feeling that day. Doesn't mean that I don't care about them, because I do. But, and yet when they need something from me, I'm always there. But yet, when, and I've said that before, and I'm probably going to say it many times after that. But, loneliness is something that is, it weighs on shoulders. It weighs heavily on, but typically on a normal day, I'm fun to be around. Yeah, my mood will change and, but if I've upset somebody, people don't want to say that because, they will get over it. Or I'll try something out and, that just starts the argument. And but that's life. And, it's, I don't know if, because many people are going to be listening to this, hopefully. And I want everybody know that, everybody is different. Everybody reacts a little bit differently. And, when I have a conversation with somebody, I'm going to admit, I'm a little bit different to each and every person that I talk to. Because it's not that I'm different person. If I'm talking to you about books, and that is where our conversations live, rarely will I deviate from our normal conversation. Because that's where, that's what we're talking about. That's what we, that's where we have our conversations. That's what we enjoy. That's great. Because to me, I find it highly inappropriate to, if we're only talking about books, and that's what our interest lies and that we talk about. I'm not, unless it's something that, we're trying to figure out other thing that we could talk about. But I'm not going to just abruptly, bring up, oh, wrestling or, other things that are not part of the current flow. Now, there are a few people in my life that I legitimately can talk about anything and everything. But we usually don't, There's a lot of things that I try not to talk about. And, and I can feel it, that there's a few things that is brought up that I don't talk about, or that I'm just like, I don't care. Especially if it's a subject that I do care about. But, it depends of what level you're at. And like I'm saying, I'm in a great mental state, or I wouldn't be doing this episode or there, but I'm being very vulnerable by talking about these subjects and bringing it in, because there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of people who I am. I grew up, being autistic, and there's a lot of things that I've had to claw for. I didn't start talking until I was, where normal people would have, had many vocabulary. And, that's because I had to work hard and having speech impediment and having a lot of cognitive and mental problems and learning disabilities, etc., etc. I had to learn and that's my journey. And people, it's like, oh, look at the fat retard, look at the etc. And being bullied my entire life. A lot of people have talked to me because they pity me, or have done stuff with me because they pity me, or they could get stuff out of me, or and being abused. And I could see things a little bit differently, but if you have an honest conversation of, I can see how you see that, but here's my point of view. And if they give me a great from their point of view, then I go, oh yeah, no, I totally understand that. I'm sorry, my brain will overreact and see things that aren't there. That's why communication is matter. But if you hide something or you refuse because you think that something's bad is going to happen, that thing's probably going to happen sometime. You may not know when, but the thing that you're most afraid of is going to happen. We hope it doesn't. Again, I'm just saying from my point of view. And it's all situational. Everything is, situational based because, if you don't touch a piece of chocolate, expecting somebody else to take it and nobody takes it, well, something will take it. May not be a human, though. And I'm not going to go in for because I don't like bugs and stuff. So we're moving on forward. But at the same time, it's all situational based. And, there's a lot to me than people will ever know. And a lot of people choose to ever get to know me. And even this podcast is not an accurate assessment of who I am. I'm being honest, but at the same time, I'm basically curating, trying to help other people, and trying to focus really hard on positive, but at the same time, how I feel. And normally it's how I feel now, or how I felt during certain situations. But it does, it weighs on my soul, because, I went for a walk, and I was talking, I have my headset in, and I'm talking to, if I have an idea in my head or whatnot. And I was on a walk, and I'm talking to myself, and, this person was saying some rude and crude stuff to me. And, I ignored it, but doesn't mean that I didn't listen. And, I've been told by other people to my face that I'm worthless. I shouldn't be alive. And, especially people that I know, you're a leech on society. I think I've said that many times on the podcast. But, you don't deserve what you have, and you're worthless. And I disagree. Because I have fought for everything that I have, and I do get, help from government agencies, etc. But, that shouldn't deem that I'm a different person. Because, I matter. And you listening to this, you matter. No matter what you're going through. Good or bad. But we're not, you're not guaranteed anything. People like, oh, I want this Lamborghini, but I don't want to pay for it. Well, then most likely you're not going to get a Lamborghini now, are you? Because, you're not entitled to anything. But, you have to have expectations. You have to have things. But, loneliness weighs down a lot. And I'm going to take a quick second and say thank you for listening to Coping with Life, Disability and Mental Illness, Mentally Ill. Please tell your friends and family, share it on social media. Anchor, ANCHOR.FM/coping with life. That's COPINGWITHLIFE. There's links to other podcasts of, where you can listen to my podcast. There should be social media links. You can also support me there. All grateful. You can also find me on Amazon Music. I don't know if the link is up there or not. Hopefully soon it will be. I'm only one person, and I'm still learning. I'm doing everything by myself, and it's taxing, and it's not a burden because I'm loving it, but there's a lot of things that are, taking time. And even if you're not feeling the best, and going, I would like to do this, but, I don't want to. I just want to lay in bed and do nothing. And so I usually do. But normally I'm a happy-go-lucky person. Love to laugh. Even with my toothless smile, I like to smile. And I want to thank each and every one of you. I care about each and every one of you. I do. And loneliness, it will get better, but sometimes when you're in the thick of it, there's no, you feel like, there's no hope, but when you think of no hope and you're going down the rabbit hole of, listening to people around you saying that you're worthless, that, you shouldn't be here. Well, I care about you, and I love you, and you matter. Keep that in mind. No matter what your journey or what you're going through, and, hopefully you have your health. Hopefully you have a life that is, okay, because you matter. And, for being who I have been my entire life, I've done things, and I've been through so much that, I have no idea what other people have gone through. And even if it's very similar situations, I don't know what they're going through or how much weight they're actually feeling. But I can help. I've talked to many people and have solutions, and but the most thing that I have that I can offer is my ear and listening. I do care about everybody, but sometimes, you have to do things your own. Sometimes you are alone, and people don't care about you because, everybody's doing their own thing. Because, I don't really want to talk about like manipulation or other words that may trigger people. So I won't. in this episode, but there are a few future episodes that may. But I want to thank everybody, and you know, every episode is going to be different. It may be a heavy subject, maybe a light subject. It may just be a general chat, me talking. But at the end of the day, I care about you. And, if you're not going through a healthy time, or something's toxic, or you're just not going through a good time, reach out to somebody. Talk to them. Because you matter. And, I appreciate everybody. And I thank each and every one of you. I do. I say that almost every week. Hopefully I said it every week, but, I don't know. But everybody matters. And, nobody should ever feel lonely. Nobody should feel empty. And for somebody who, everybody's goal in life is different. But, I like to support them, even if I personally know that the success rate is 0.002%. But you're saying that there's still a chance. It's like, hey, if there's still a chance, I'm going to support you. I'm going to be in your corner cheering, even though, it's 96-3. It's like, well, there's 2 minutes left in the game. You're down by 93. You still have a chance. And I will root for you. And I'm just being honest, I believe in you, and I support everything that you're trying to achieve in life. Within reason. I will add within reason. But, I try and be very positive and try to support everybody's dreams, but it's really hard when you think of, I've given so many people chances to, achieve their dreams, and then they basically tell me to piss off. And then they come up with, hey, you told me that if I did this, it's like, yeah, well, that ship has sailed. Right when you were talking about it, I had an opportunity, I pitched it to you, and you murdered it. It happens. We go forward. It happens a lot, actually. It goes on both sides, 100%. And I want to thank everybody who has helped me and supported me. Even though I feel like, there's no one in my corner. But I have a feeling that there's more people rooting for me than I will ever know. And those people, I care about you. And I appreciate it. Because I know for a fact that there's a lot of people who supported me. And hey, there's a lot of people who's listening to this podcast. You're cheering me on, even if you're listening to this and making fun of me. That's okay. Because I still appreciate you. Because, I am who I am. And I'm just saying from my point of view, because, because in all reality, I know there's a lot of people supporting me and cheering me on for anything that I do, anything that I put my mind on. There's a lot of things that I would have done in my life if it wasn't for the people saying, "Hey, I got an idea. I need you to do this. Pay this. I need you to be here at 7 in the morning." Okay, cool. Done. It is all perspective. And I'm trying to, when you're feeling hopeless, when you're feeling down in the whole, when you're feeling, super down, you feel like there's nobody around you to help you, even though that may not be the case. Again, I like to talk in the parameters of the subject that I'm talking about, because that may that helps me stay on track. But you matter, and I've done a lot of fun things, and may a future episode talk about a few things that I've done. But I want to thank each and every one of you. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it may be for you. Please, if you're going through a tough time, or if you're feeling lonely, or like all hope is gone, reach out to somebody, talk to them. It's rough. It's really hard, and the weight on your shoulders need to be lifted up, supported by other people, and those people exist. So this has been another episode of Coping with Life. I'm your host, Scotty. Thank you so much, and keep in mind, tell your friends and family, share on social media, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. I love you. I bid you adieu. Thank you very much.